was only until I got older that I realized what my mom was trying to teach me. Without actually teaching me, what she taught me was this world here that we see, it was my playground. And she taught me how to not think just South Central LA, not even think America, but know that everything was just a flight away. So because of that, I started businesses all over. So I went to Panama with my friend Steve, and we built computers, and we were selling them to the local population. I also did in Costa Rica and Panama, I started a nonprofit organization. Now that nonprofit organization was working with micro enterprises and helping them build sustainable businesses. Because you know, a lot of micro enterprises in third world countries, they run out of the seat of their pants. They don't really have the business acumen that they need in order to be successful or to run a sustainable business. So I send hundreds of college students out every year to work with these businesses and teaching them finance, teaching them staffing and HR and so on and so forth, so they can grow their business. The one thing that happened that I think is most exciting is that, if you notice here, historically in the United States of America, it's a high barrier to entry doing business. I don't know if we have a lot of entrepreneurs in here, but it's just a high barrier to entry. You know, it costs a lot of money, there's a ton of competition, most of everything has been done before. The beauty about what happened during this recession is that today, there are new opportunities. So this quote here by this guy, Warren Buffett, I'm sure everyone has heard of him. It's a funny looking picture of this man. I'm sorry that I didn't get a better picture of him, but he says, I say that you should get greedy when others are fearful, and fearful when others are greedy. Now this is one of my favorite quotes because I built my business based on this. All right, so what don't seasoned investors want you to know? The first thing, that there's a thriving real estate market that generates millions of dollars right now during this economy. So I know on the news you see real estate boom. You know, it's not a boom actually, it's a pop, right? There's problems right now. The real estate market is crap, but guess what? There are people making millions of dollars right now in real estate because of the current economic challenges. And now the average person can actually get into this market right now. So let's talk about some millionaires made during the recessions. Ross Perot. Now, most people when they see Ross Perot, they think he made a lot of money behind an office. But really, he made money in real estate during the 80s, during a recession. We have our famous, you're fired, right? Mr. Donald Trump, real estate tycoon. And also we have yours truly. All right, so what's my story? You know, what's going on with Terica now during this recession? So what I'm doing basically is I've come back to America. You know, I have stuff going on offshore, but in America, I'm like, I'm not going to miss out on this opportunity that we have to date. And what I'm doing basically is I'm leveraging my cash to purchase properties in bulk from the bank. Now when I say bulk, let's not get afraid and think, oh, I have to go out and buy 100 homes. I'm talking about I bought 10 when I first started. I bought 10 little houses, and I'll show you what happened. So when I say bulk, I mean I bought 10 properties from a bank, and I rehabbed them and I sold them for an enormous profit. So let's talk about some mistakes that you have to avoid and take notes so that you can replicate what I'm doing. The first thing, do not assume that a low price is a good deal. So don't go out to Detroit and buy a $2,000 house on eBay, please. They're on there, 500, I'm sure people have seen it. Google $500 house, don't do that. You get shot on the way trying to pick up the mail, okay? Do not do that. So don't assume that a low price is a good deal. The next thing here is understand the contracts and paperwork, because sometimes you might buy a property from a bank and there's a deed restriction. I've made that mistake. So I bought a property, okay, yes, fix it up, put all my money in there, and I got stuck. Why? Because Fannie Mae said, you can't sell this house for more than 120% of what you bought it for, and I bought it for, I think, like $16,000. So I was stuck in it for 3 months. That's risky, right? So make sure you read all the paperwork and you understand what's going on. Again, be knowledgeable and educated. Do your homework, make the right connections, and learn from them. Okay, the deal structure, process, and risk. So again, the deal structure here is cash flow. So sometimes what will happen is you might underestimate the taxes. You might think the taxes are, let's say, $1,000 a year, but they might be $2,000 a year. So you're expecting to make $100 in net cash flow, but now you're not making anything. So make sure you do the proper research to know that you're getting the right cash flow. Not having a clear exit strategy. This is a big one, because people will go out, buy a property, rehab it, and they don't have anyone to sell it to. Because you can't just sell it right away. You have to actually build that exit strategy before and then sell it. And then again, not structuring yourself properly. I mean, structure is everything in this business, in the real estate business. And if you don't have the right structure, you could lose big. So what you can get with no cash, and what I'm going to do right now is talk to you a little bit about a program that I put together. Now, I've been buying properties for myself. I've been rehabbing them and I've been flipping them. And I've made millions of dollars in this marketplace for the recession. Just the recession alone has created this, okay? Period. Now, what I do know is that not everyone has availability of cash on hand, okay? Or you might have cash, but you don't want to spend it. You know, you have money in the bank, you have like maybe $10,000, but it's your nest egg, because right now we're in a recession, so if you get laid off, you need to have that money. So putting it as a down payment doesn't make much sense to you, because then if you lose, then you have nothing left. You'll be cash poor and house rich. So what I did was I created a program for the regular guy. The regular guy who has money in the bank, they have good credit, you know, they have an interest in participating in this historical real estate market, yet they don't have the time and they don't want to spend their money. So this zero down program allows regular people to buy single family homes in Indiana, so Indianapolis, Missouri, Kansas City, St. Louis, Alabama, Birmingham, Minnesota, that's Minneapolis, St. Paul, and then we're also doing stuff in Memphis and Jackson. So you can buy single family homes in these marketplaces, and we're selling them to you, because remember, I buy stuff cheap. Okay, so I'm able to sell them for my company to my investors at 30 to 40 cents on the dollar. So what that means is, let's take a quick example. If a house is worth $100,000, that means I'm able to sell that to you for 30,000 bucks. So you still have enough wiggle room in there to turn a profit, right? You can create monthly cash flow, and I put together a turnkey system. So basically, you're able to leverage all my mistakes and all the things that I've learned with construction, because there's a lot of drama with construction, right? Buying those right properties, remember all those things I told you what to do to avoid those mistakes? That's how you can avoid them, by just, you know, you can leverage our understanding.